Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate you guys for stopping by. Welcome in. Hope you're excited to talk a little Scream 7, ladies and gentlemen, as I am joined by Eric, the Bearded Entertainment. What is up, my friend?
Not much, dude. I'm excited to talk about Scream and Stu Macher as always. I mean, it's the franchise, and I feel like it's a good time to be a fan of the franchise right now.
Oh yeah, we got so much is happening, man. I mean, Scream 7 is on the horizon here in February. Scream 8 may be going into production at the top of next year at some point. What's up with that?
Did you see the Production Weekly article?
Yeah.
Yeah, that had it was reposted in the Scream subreddit today. So I was like, oh, did they post it on it again? But I noticed it was the one from way back in I want to say it was like May or something when they fully announced. I was like, they're still shooting the previous one. But yeah, dude, I guess it's going. I'm thinking they're gonna shoot to do year between. So I'm thinking they're gonna try to finish this out February of 27.
Ooh, okay. I think that would be perfect timing, just a year, basically like a year apart. Do you think it's gonna, that's a big question, is a lot of people are thinking it's gonna be a two-parter, like a 7 and 8 one long story, do you think, or no?
That's what I think, and that's why I think there is such a rush. I do believe they're going to do what I've never wanted Scream to do and leave it on a cliffhanger. I've been very vocal about not wanting that, but I think that's what it's going to be, and I think that's one of the reasons they're going to try to just rush into filming the next one right when this one comes out, and then have part 8 ready to go just by the time the commotion settled down from 7.
There you go. I mean, it would be fun to cover 7, get done with that, and then we're already getting into the production of 8. Like, we're immediately talking about what's next, what's coming up next. Where was that cliffhanger going? That would be exciting. I think that would be it's no matter what. I mean, we're getting at least one more movie, so it's an exciting time. But to get like a twofer, a Deathly Hallows Part 1, Part 2, that would be kind of crazy. I'd be into it.
I think from what I understand, they're probably going to be filming back down in Georgia where they filmed Part 7. Okay. I'm excited about the prospect of leaving the theater from seeing Part 7 in Atlanta and rolling up on the production for Part 8, because I'm going back down there. Going back down there for some more footage for Part 8. And I think it's cool to be able to leave the theater from seeing Part 8 to go watch them film, or from seeing Part 7 to go watch them film Part 8.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some more behind the scenes shots. Who knows?
I hope so. Possible. Although I don't want to. It was a risky time last time, man. It was a risky situation. But
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that on stream or not, because you were our anonymous source essentially.
I'm open. I'm okay with it now because we've moved on. Production, the movie's coming out. I'm okay to talk about it now. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't 100%.
If you have any questions, the trailer for this, I saw just about every location where this was shot.
Oh wow. Okay. Everything in the trailer, everything that we saw there?
Except for inside. So I was at the bar. I had dinner at the bar where you see Mindy and Chad going up against Ghostface. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Maybe it's just on my end. I went to Sydney's house where you the exterior. So I was there. I saw that little cul-de-sac where you see the kids walking. I was in Dallas is the actual name of the city. And that's why when you see the long sweeping shot of Pine Grove, you actually see Dallas Theater. That's the actual name of the theater because it's actually Dallas, Georgia.
Okay.
I was talking to one of the production people, and apparently a previous production had taken that down and messed it up. So now they told other productions, you can't take it down anymore. You have to change it in post. So that was supposed to be changed from what I understand, but they might just leave it as Dallas Theater. But I was there, the coffee shop, I was outside while they were filming a chase scene that you see in the trailer. So dude, I got to see most of I'll say like 95% of what you see in the trailer, I was there. So it was really
Yeah.
freaking cool.
Yeah, I will say as well, if you've been watching all the videos and you saw like when we were covering the production earlier on this year, Eric was the one, him here, giving us all those really cool photos that I've been using in the videos, and especially that video of Isabel May, which getting chased by Ghostface. I saw that trending on like other people's pages, but like that went out to Craven and I were the ones to kind of put that out there first. And I remember it was like a couple of months ago. It was like, oh my god, look at this new video of Isabel May, and I'm like, dog, we talked about that back in February. Like, what are you talking about?
I think Bloody Disgusting that did an article on and the first set photos of Ghostface. I'm like, I took those photos. Really cool. Like I wanted to give him to Craven because I mean we're all Scream fans. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that man loves Scream more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as I was going down there, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be going down anytime, anything I get, I'll shoot it to you. And he immediately called me and was like, hey dude, I know, here, go to this address. This is this place, go to this address. And I was like, dude, any shots I get, I'll send them to you. And like, we had like at least 2 to 3 calls a day while I was down there. And when I got the Isabel May stuff, I sent him a text. I was like, hey, do you want to know anything that might be a spoiler? And like, he called me like in a half a second. And he was like, yes, I do. What is it? And I'm like, I told him about the Isabel May stuff, and I uploaded it to, Google Drive so he could have it. And it was, yeah, dude, that was, we got to talk about that a while ago, and I'm glad he got to see that stuff.
Yeah, I am too. I am still bummed that he's not gonna be able to see the movie. Because I know he would. I just know he would love it. I just know deep down he would really love this one.
Here, I would like. I'm imagining him watching the trailer because, like, for Scream 6, we did a big group trailer reaction when it came out. Yeah. I'm just imagining how his face would have lit up hearing Stu's voice at the end of that. He would not have been able to stop talking, man.
And you're right. I know him well, and I know he would have called me and he would just been like, we got to get on a stream right now. We have to talk. Like, he would just be too excited. He'd have to talk about all his Scream theories, all his Stu theories, I should say. I just know he would love that. And it just makes me real sad. Yes.
Hi, Madison.
Oh. Eric says hello. She's yelling at me because I always do the stream thing wrong, and I'm on a different platform tonight. So I see all the chats. No worries. I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at that, babe. Okay, I'll change it. I'll change it just for you. Okay. I'm so sorry, Eric.
Oh no, you're good. I noticed how you on your other lives you have one of the on-screen chat thing. So like within your screen.
Yeah, so when I'm streaming on StreamYard, it shows you all this stuff. But if I'm streaming on that other, my other like OBS is where I usually stream from. There's like an option that you have to hit either like live chat or just top chat, which is like, here's just the top listed chats. But I like to talk to everybody. Which, speaking of which, hello to everybody out there. Appreciate you guys all for watching. I haven't even we're 8 minutes into this and I haven't said hi to anybody. So let's take a step back real quick. Erica, what is up? What's up? Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate you a ton. Michael is also here, channel member. Appreciate that. What's up? Scareticulous. Stu will be teased in 7 and revealed fully in 8. Oh, we'll be talking about it. Listen, we're here to talk all about that. Hollywood Guy's also with us. Thank you for being a channel member. Appreciate you a ton. Matthew's even throwing a whole $3 in there. Thank you, Matthew. This is gonna be fun. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Thank you for the 3. Appreciate that a ton, Matthew. Thank you. So let's just get right into it. We've been beating around the bush. Stu Macher. I wanted to come to this stream not to debate you on if Stu is dead or not. I want to accept the fact, what if Stu is alive in Scream 7? what is the best way to approach that if he is coming back? Because I think it's more of a possibility than ever with this upcoming entry. And if we're gonna do it, if we're just gonna bite the bullet, Stu is coming back. I've talked to Death. I told you this off screen, but I'm gonna say it here as well. I've been talking to Death about how I personally think that it's going to be Stu's sister. That is my front running theory on Scream 7. I think that's probably gonna be the case. We set it up in Scream 5, but I'm exhausted talking about that. Let's just talk about if Stu is alive, what's the best way to do it? So to kick this off, Eric, I want to hear your theory about Stu. I know you love Stu, and I know you want to see him come back. What is your front running theory about if Stu Macher is alive and well running the show in 7?
Okay, so this is a theory I know you don't like, and I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. It's not my favorite theory, but it clears something up because there is a very valid debate from the people who don't want Stu to come back. My theory is he's had a hand in a few things all along. You know, he maybe not the mastermind, but like I think he was there all along, and that's not my favorite. I'll give you that. It's not my favorite. However, the most valid argument I see from people who don't want Stu to be alive is, where has he been all this time? And that's so valid. I can't say like, oh, I don't know, and like they can gloss over that because they can't. You got to give it something. And I think having him be, you know, have a hand in it all along is the easiest way, I think, to just get past it quickly. I don't think him being in jail this whole time makes any sort of sense. I don't think him being in some facility this whole time, I don't think that holds weight at all. We would have heard about it by now. Like when they're running down a list of suspects and you know one of the original killers is still alive, they're going to be at the top of the list. So plus I do believe the board in 6 hinted that he was dead. So
yeah,
like I don't think they said it outright, but I do think they believe he's dead, in which case, like, I'm okay with that. But you got to have some sort of answer. My theory, he's had a hand in a few things all along to like keep current. That's just the one that kind of makes the most sense.
So, like, do you think anything in particular from the past that he manipulated or orchestrated? Like, what in particular?
I think I would love for it to be. We know Scott Foley's coming back. It's already been announced. I would love for there to be a flashback showing he helped Scott Foley. I think it would be awesome to have a little flashback showing that. I mean, he not helped, but went to Billy's mom, went to old Debbie Salt and because. I mean, that's going to be the closest thing she'd have to a son left is Stu, because Stu knew Billy better than anyone. So, you know, I think that would be a cool like thing. I'm tying it into each movie seems a little, you know, you could contrive a tie-in. For me, I do want specifically a tie-in to 6 and Richie, because I'm pretty sure you've already talked about the drawings, right? In part 6. You know how there's the drawings of all the characters who die?
Okay, yeah.
In the shrine? Have I never told you my Scream 6 like Stu's alive theory on that?
No, about the drawings? No, I don't know about this.
Did you see Principal Hembry's drawing?
No.
Okay, so in the shrine, you see a drawing of, several other dead. I think you see Sarah Darling, and she's like laying over the glass.
Okay,
and like
yeah.
the lady. Well, you see Principal Hembry's, and it's Principal Hembry laying dead on his office floor. And you see it's like a 1-for-1,
Yeah, it's a replication, right? It's yeah.
There's a problem with that. How did the police find Principal Hembry?
Not on the floor. They found him at
They found him
the
hanging
field.
up by the goalpost. So the only person who would know what he looked like laying on that floor dead, down to how many buttons were on his shirt and where his tie was laying, would be the person who killed him. Because right after that, they took him and strung him up on the goalpost.
Okay.
Who drew that?
Was Stu much of an artist? I wonder if there's anything about that.
Dude, you know what? Like, I haven't been able to like rectify that aspect of the movie though, because like for real, the only people who would have seen him would have been the people who killed him.
Yeah.
Like
Okay. I mean, that's a good point. Scream 6 got a lot of, you always like to talk about how Scream 6 did get a lot of things wrong though.
I will say that. I will say that. And if it's a mistake, it's a glaring mistake to me. Although we do know some of the people who made Scream 6 were on the STU train. So, and as much as they did hint that he was dead, they also like were pretty vocal about throwing out there, if you believe he's dead. So I don't know.
I just, for me, Scream 6 is such a definite, like, we don't believe Stu is dead. Like, that's kind of the vibe that I get from it, at least. Like, I mean, killing one of their own ghost faces with the same TV, you know what I mean? Like, that just gives off, yeah, Stu's dead. It's kind of the energy that movie gives off to me. But I think, like, for me, I guess it comes off as like meta commentary. You know what I mean? It's a huge theory in the Scream fandom. It's been a theory since he was in the background of Scream 2, essentially, right? Matthew Lillard hanging out at the party. I guess that's how I interpret it. But
3.
so is that true? I can't find anything about that being true. Can I be real with you? Like, if you have something that I just haven't seen? I've read about Kevin Williamson's original notes for Scream 3, and I've seen nothing, no mention of Stu. I get comments about that all the time, and I'm just like, show me the proof. I see nothing about Stu being involved with that.
I've just seen the interview with Matthew Lillard where he says it.
That's where this is all coming from. Okay, because
I think that was from like a Scream documentary that they were making.
Because I've read about, because like everyone's like, dude, in Kevin Williamson's original notes, like it was supposed to be Stu, and I'm like, no, it's not. You can find that, like, where Kevin Williamson is talking about this. Must be another interview I've just never seen, but Kevin Williamson talking about his original plans, it was like what he had said, at least, was that it was going to be some sort of cult at Woodsboro again. Like, it was going to take place at Woodsboro. It was going to be a cult of stab movie fans who were all going to be the killers. I have heard so many people have said like Matthew Lillard was going to be running that cult. This is news to me because I cannot find anything about that. So Matthew Lillard did an interview talking about this, because I have not seen that, if that exists.
Matthew Lillard, like, it was part of some Scream documentary. Craven actually has the short, and I'm pretty sure I have the short on my channel too, where it was cut out of that, where he was saying he signed a contract to do it, to do part 3. Then obviously the tragedy happened, the shooting happened, and they changed it up. He still got paid because they had to buy him out of his contract. So he says those exact words in the interview. And Kevin Williamson, man, I think Kevin Williamson is a genius when it comes to like keeping things secret, because there was like a week where part 6 was doing press and he's like, yeah, he's dead. And then like a week and a half later, he's like, who knows? Who knows who's dead, really? And I'm like, I think he's just playing it up because he doesn't like want to give away the answer, because if he gives away the answer, it's done. You can't do anything. And that's another thing about this I'm sure we'll talk about. But I don't know. When it comes to the TV thing, you're absolutely right. They did. It was Ethan, right? They killed Ethan with the TV. Didn't he pop back up though?
No. After he pops up and then gets killed by the TV.
Okay.
Because Kirby comes in or whatever and pushes it off, I think.
I thought he got hit by the TV and then he popped up.
I'm pretty sure he gets, like, that's the double tap is with the TV, because he gets the knife in the mouth at first and that's how he goes down, and then he's then like it's after the Carpenter sisters come out. Right. They've killed Detective Bailey, and then they're just sitting on the stage. Right.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I think some characters get stabbed 2 times and they're gone, and then Chad gets stabbed 47 and he's still kicking. So like, I do think it killed Ethan. Ethan wasn't Stu Macher. I say that. Like,
his skull wasn't as thick as Stu's.
Stu definitely had some thick head going on. Like he wasn't right. He wasn't all there. I don't know. and that's another reason I don't know how I feel about I don't really like that he's been there all along. If it is he's been there all along, he's not the mastermind. To me, Stu doesn't have mastermind qualities.
Dude, that's my big thing. That's the big point I wanted to make tonight. Like, my problem with Stu coming back at this point, we've gone back and forth a million times about the logic behind it. I don't care. I can get into something like Scream 6 where there's you got to suspend your disbelief a little bit to really vibe with it. It's the logic. I'm not looking for that in a Scream movie. Okay. Like, all of these movies have a little bit of something where it's like, would that really happen that way? Probably not, but I can vibe with it because it's fun and it's cool. With Stu coming back, my biggest problem with it is that they're just going to bring him back and he's going to be revealed as this mastermind, overarching villain of the franchise. And that's just not the character that he was in the original film. He's the goofy sidekick. And I love him for that. You know, that's not a negative thing about Stu. I think that's what makes him so great. But I feel like the fandom has kind of turned him into this mastermind killer who's orchestrating everything. He's the puppet master, but he's not a guy that possesses those qualities. I mean, literally the way he's introduced is making a joke about the Casey Becker death. Live her alone, you know what I mean? And he's laughing at it like he's a goofy,
and then
imbecile.
Got to try to keep him under control.
Right, exactly. He has no self-discipline in regards to that. He's no mastermind. I just don't see that.
I won't give him mastermind. I'll give him if he's there. I hope he is, because like I said, it is the easiest way to like. I want him to be not mastermind. I want him to be inspiration. He's there. You know what I would have done? I would have done this, and then they go do it. He's the Roman for a couple of them. Like, he gives them that little spark of determination to actually go kill someone. To actually like push it over the edge. I don't think he's a you go here. You're going to do this. You're going to call at this time. You got to make sure you have this set up. No, he's like I would have just went in there and, cut as many times as I could have, which is exactly what they did to Olivia. So just throw it out there. Like, there was a lot of stuff where it doesn't play into Stu's strengths. I 1000% don't believe that. However, I think they could just be like, hey, he just didn't want to do anything for 30 years. Like, don't give me coma. Don't give me a coma. Like, he's been in a coma for 30 years. Like, they would have pulled the plug so long ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He had to be doing something. I don't think there's. Well, the only thing I could. I'm reaching in my head, like reaching with things. Sorry, and you know what? You asked me, and we've been talking. What's your best theory for how he comes back?
Before we get into that, just real quick, I had some super chats come through. That is a great. We'll get to that in 2 seconds. Erica's thrown 2 out there saying 68 viewers and 44 likes. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Erica will bite off your fingers if you don't hit the like button. So it's a very scary scene. I've seen her do it before. Lord Almighty, just hit the like button. But thank you so much, Erica. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for the 2. I had a little pop-up come here, and I can't get rid of it. There we go. Erica, thank you. Hollywood Guy, thank you for the 5, saying, I read somewhere that Kevin did an interview that Stu is dead. This is a recent interview, and I did want to ask you about this, Eric, in a second. Hollywood Guy, sit on that for 2 seconds. So what I'll say about Stu, what I want to see, if it's going to happen, again, if we're just accepting the fact Stu is alive and he's going to come back for this movie, I just think it would be predictable that he's going to be the dark Stu. He's going to be, I've been waiting 30 years in a basement somewhere to kill you now, Sydney. I don't see it. I think it would be way more interesting if there was killers surrounding him, like what you're talking about, like younger blood, essentially. Maybe not blood relatives. Like, again, if this is a perfect world and I get what I want out of Scream and Stu is still alive, that would mean there's no relative characters. Screw that noise. We've done that a million times. And there's some young blood that's defending Stu Macher, who's in a basement somewhere, but he's like Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, he's like withered away, like little Gollum and skin and bones kind of vibe. He's drinking blood right out of Sydney's daughter's arm or something. I don't know. For me, if you're gonna do something weird and different, go to that weird and gross little place like that. Are we gonna get something, that visceral and disgusting and Scream? Probably not. But like that to me would be the coolest way to bring back a legacy character, is to like quite literally like it's beating a dead horse in a lot of ways, and this would be a great way to symbolize that, I think, in Scream, is by showing like the withering away, almost dead, like nearly a corpse version of Stu Macher who's being brought back, to essentially try to kill once again. These younger killers who idolize him try to put him back in the forefront again, but they can't. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is also the movie that is on display at the Dallas theater that we were talking about earlier. So that's another reason why Grandpa's in my head. But I think, again, if we're going the meta horror route, if we're actually going to be a Scream movie and we're going to make fun of everything else that's going on in the space, this could be a funny way to do it. Because I think a lot of these movies are bringing back these older characters that may no longer fit into a story, but we're shoehorning them in because we know that's going to put butts in seats. At least the older fans who are excited to see their heroes back again. I think Ghostbusters is such a great example of this. Like this is a movie that is basically it's a Marvel movie at this point. We're just introducing 100 characters and all the old characters, and they're all just fighting ghosts now. And it hardly resembles the product it once was back in the 80s. So could Scream make fun of that in a really unique and weird way? I would love that. If that's the way that you bring back Stu, that's totally fine. It's not. Point being, though, it's not the logic that bothers me. It's the fact that I just don't think they're going to utilize it in a very Scream-ish way.
Okay. I will say, though, like, I find, and the biggest example to me is how Scream will make fun of something and then openly do that thing as well. Like Sydney on the phone before she gets attacked the very first time. She openly calls out how the damsel in distress or whatever runs upstairs when she should be running out the front door, and then she immediately runs upstairs. So I think, yeah, they probably will call out something like that, but then also do it, because that's just kind of what Scream does. I think it could go very wrong. I think the concerns with it are very valid. They could spoil something completely. But I don't know. At this point, I either want Ghostface to be Stu Macher or someone I've never met before. Like, because it's getting... That's one of the reasons 5 was refreshing to me. That's one of the reasons 5 is above 6 in my rankings, is because 5 was at least someone we had never met before that movie. It's, we've got 1, 2, and 3, obviously... kind of laid out the format for the killers. Yeah. You got the boyfriend and his friend. You got the relative of a previous victim / killer. Then you've got a relative of Sydney. From then on, you got a relative of Sydney and her boyfriend. Then you got 5 was original, at least I can give it that. It was fans who just wanted to make their movie, and as well, they weren't going after Sydney.
Yeah, and I think that's refreshing, because I feel like if it's just Sydney again, if they're just going after Sydney again, it's like, where's the originality there? I totally understand putting 5 above 6 for that reason. I think it 100% has the better murder mystery and motive.
And it doesn't have the logical mistakes that 6 has. 6 has a point where it physically cannot be any of the 3 characters as Ghostface, time-wise. Like, I did a breakdown of this and everything. Like, it physically can't be any of the 3 characters who were revealed to be Ghostface as Ghostface in the scene. And I'm like, well, they either messed that up or they're meaning for it to be someone else.
What scene? What scene in particular? I'm just curious.
In the bodega scene.
Why couldn't that have been Detective Bailey?
Because Detective Bailey got a call. When Sam calls Detective Bailey, I'll have to go. It's been a minute since I looked it up, but you see the time on her phone when she calls him.
Yeah.
And then they tell you the time of the exact attack. There is no way, because when he gets the call, he's at the first crime scene. Like for Jason and what's Jason's partner's name?
Greg?
Jason and Greg. Yeah, he's at that crime scene. There's literally not enough time for him to be there at the bodega.
Because I kind of took that as that was him. Because I don't see his kids handling a shotgun like that.
That's the implication is that it's him. But you can even I gave Craven this as well. I think he did a video on it, but I did a video on it. You can and it's stupid to analyze it this much, but that's kind of what we do, in this thing. You can zoom in on him at the crime scene. He's completely different. Like he's wearing completely different dress shoes. He's wearing everything different. So he would have had to not only get out of their apartment, drive to wherever it is to meet up with Sam, because he intersects them. Like they leave right after they call. Ghostface is waiting on the bushes outside their apartment right after they walk down. He would have had to get there, completely change into everything, hide, and call them. And I think he had 2.5 minutes to do it.
I'm gonna have to watch it again because I guess I just never really thought about that. I don't know. I mean, once
again, it's a logic thing, but
we've seen ghost faces change in and out of costumes in less than 30 seconds too, and that's a big question mark that I have as well.
That's valid. That's totally valid. However, it's not really the changing into costume, because if you're just slipping on a robe, that's one thing. We get a straight up close up on the boots that Ghostface is wearing. They're not the same shoes that Bailey's wearing. So that's a big thing for me, because you can slip on a robe pretty quick. You're not changing out of over the ankle boots that fast and lacing them bitches up. I will
say another thing that I like about whodunit murder mysteries, and I know Thanksgiving does this really well, is they have different people playing the killer at different times. And I don't need so many people were like, that couldn't have been Amber in Scream 5 because the ghost face was too tall or something like that. I like when I like when you can't figure it out based on how the killer looks. You know what I mean? I would rather it be just somebody else in the suit, because if that's the way I find out who the killer is, that's a really boring way to reveal your killer. I'd rather it be a stunt person for me personally. Thanksgiving, for instance, had multiple people in the mask at different times. Patrick Dempsey, sure, I believe was in there for a few scenes, but you also had Milo Manheim play the clown, who was also John Carver or whatever at one point. A ton of the other red herrings are playing the killer at different periods of the film. I like shit like that. To me is it kind of goes past the whole logical thing, but that's not what I'm looking for first and foremost when it comes to a good horror film. I want to be misdirected. I want to be pull the wool over my eyes and totally fool me. And this is just filmmaking language in a lot of ways. This is just diverting the attention of the audience to this and that, just so that we can have a big reveal at the end. In real life, you could say, well, in real life it would look like this. In real life, a guy's not using a knife to try to kill somebody they're going after for revenge. You know what I mean? That's my big point about slasher films. All of these movies are illogical if you really want to break it down and go that far into it.
Oh yeah, I said this on another stream the other day. What I want, and what you're saying about it specifically comments on what you're saying about the stunt doubles for the mask and the stunt performers for being in the costume. All I'm asking is, if you're going to have a female ghost face, have a female stunt performer as well. They look different. If you're giving me Charlie and
Jill,
who were both less than 5'10", but you're giving me 6 foot tall performers, I'm gonna have a little bit of problem with that, because I think both Jill and Charlie were 5'5", 5'6".
They're shorter, yeah.
It's not even close, but they're also smaller framed. And you know what? I get it that that's not meant to be the way you figure it out, but also like I don't know, like Amber lifting Dewey up off the floor, and I know it's been beat to death, but like lifting Dewey up off the floor with a knife, I don't know. That's just kind of a I'm like, a really? I don't care that it's not Amber's size. It's at least give them, because while this is a slasher, there is some sort of root of realism to it. Some minimal.
We'll get off the topic because I want to get to Hollywood Guys super chat here, but I do think for me, when I'm looking at Ghostface running around killing people, the idea of it being anybody, I wouldn't want to limit what they were able to do just because we're ultimately going to reveal them as so and so later on. For me, it's like I think Ghostface can be anybody and should be able to do anything underneath the mask. Like I think there's a mysticism to slashers, you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of like, well, they can kind of, they're the killer, they can go fucking ham, they can go balls to the wall if we really want to.
You've been a Ghostface. Tell me, did you get special powers? And be honest, you got special powers putting that robe on, didn't you?
Not only did I get special powers, dude, I had a dream about a ground, something from a word I probably shouldn't say on the internet. Although I did upload a video of. I don't want to get my channel demonetized, but I did upload a video of me putting my hand into a ground.
The ground.
The grussy is what we call it. See, canonically, by the way, if the chat has no idea what we're talking about, please go watch our fan film Red Right Hand. This is something we wanted to say that canonically every Ghostface has a dream of at one point during their killings. Is this
if you do a Red Right Hand
dream?
Too, the killer has to have the same dream.
That would be the connective tissue. Would be the dream. Would be and the blood spraying up. That's the same thing.
What drives Stu to come back. We know it. He just wants to get rid of the dream.
Wait, that's what I'll do if I ever do a Red Right Hand part 2. Stu's face comes out of the grussy. Like it just slowly comes. That's where he's been. That's where he's been the whole time. We have the answer, guys. Oh man, stream's over.
Buried in the grussy.
All right, see you guys later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream tonight. Appreciate it. We got the answer. No, but
oh my god, gee.
Go watch our ridiculous fan film if you want to be grossed out. But anyways, Hollywood Guys is saying about this interview that Kevin did. This is something we reported on earlier on in the year, talking about how he believes that Stu Macher is dead. He is the writer and director of Scream 7. What do you make of this, Eric? In all fairness, his most recent interview is that Stu is dead. So do you think that carries into this, or do you think that's misdirection?
I think that carries zero weight. Because also he's not the main writer. I think he's the secondary. He listed as secondary. I think Guy is still right. Guy is still listed as the first the writer, and I think it's story by Kevin Williamson.
To what I know, he's credited as and this is rumors. What I've heard is that Guy Busick wrote an initial draft and Kevin Williamson rewrote it. So the bones come from Guy, the meat comes from Kevin.
Okay. The bones come from Guy, meat comes from Kevin. So it would be story by Guy, script by Kevin.
They are both, just to be technically correct, they are both listed as writers on the film.
Okay.
But again, rumor has it Guy Busick wrote something that Kevin Williamson rewrote. So I don't, take that with a grain of salt. But sorry, continue.
Rewrites can completely change something. I think the last 4 Hellraisers, not including the remake, none of them were actually Hellraiser films. They were just spec scripts that were written, and they just literally rewrote them to include Cenobites. So a rewrite can completely change it. However, in reference to the comment, my answer, I don't think it means anything. My question to anyone who brings this up is, and I would love an answer, a valid answer, what purpose would it serve for Kevin Williamson to say he's alive?
What purpose would it serve for Kevin Williamson to say that Sidney Prescott is never going to die in this film, though? Also, I don't know. Kevin has said some weird stuff because I don't know. Kevin and Nev have said some weird stuff. In all fairness,
Nev said she wouldn't come back just to be killed off.
Nev said she wouldn't come back just to be killed off, and then just months after Mason Gooding said this is going to be the most like Viscara we've ever seen in a Scream movie, she said that there's not going to be any blood. Like it's not going to be any gore and any blood in this movie. So what the hell are we in for? I don't know. I don't know what I do agree. I don't think we can trust really anything that they're saying because they may have a different take on the actual product than what it what it turns out to be. But yeah, I don't know if I don't think I will agree with you and say that I don't think Kevin's words on what he believes about Stu is final. It's not like that disproves any sort of Stu theories. I agree with that. I don't think that's enough for me to be like, oh well, he's not coming back. That was clearly in mind making this movie after watching the trailer. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And like I said though, in what you said is a very good point, but there's no good way, even going back to Marvel. You mentioned Marvel earlier. Wow, Grumpy Gorehound.
Thank you, Grumpy Gorehound.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, let me answer this quick. Somebody wants to talk. I don't think with Marvel with Andrew Spider-Man. My God, Andrew Garfield.
Garfield, yeah.
Even after there was photos of him on set. No, I'm not in it. He maintained that the whole time. We kind of knew, but he never gave it away. And I think them announcing that Matthew Lillard was back, a lot of people are like, oh, well, of course they're not going to make him alive now because they announced he's back. And I'm like, I think it makes sense to do that because immediately your head went to, well, they can't bring him back now. They ruined the surprise. Did they? Because it's like, if he got spotted in Atlanta without them announcing that he was going to be back, people immediately would jump on it. It would spread like wildfire. What's the best way to beat that? Announce it yourself.
But I will also say, if we're going to compare, a lot of people have compared this to Billy Loomis. They're like, well, they made Billy obvious the entire time, and then he still ended up being the killer. But there was a very big facet to why he was killing that wasn't revealed until the ending, like his real true motive, you know? I think if Stu is alive, he's doing it, there's got to be something that we just don't expect. And I personally don't want it to be he's masterminding the whole Ghostface operation online or something. So I think, if it is Stu, I agree. I think they could still reveal it and it still could be shocking, but they got to have it's that why. It's that why is he doing it now 30 years later? They got to have a good answer to that question, I feel.
My biggest guess to that, if they don't go the route of, you know what, let's look at another comment first. We'll come back to this. Yeah.
Okay. Hollywood guy, thank you for the 5. I think we covered the Kevin Williamson.
Yeah, I think we covered that. Like I said, there's no positive for him and him saying he's alive.
Yeah, I agree. Clark Kent, Superman, hanging out with us. Thanks for the $2. Appreciate you saying Chad probably looks like Killmonger at this point. Chad is he's gonna take a million stabs in this movie and still be totally fine. I think that would be hilarious if he gets even more eviscerate. Like, what if the response to what happened in 6 is he gets even more just like stabbed the shit out of and still at the end? I mean, that would be hilarious to me.
I love the fact that they go so hard on that because someone brought up in terms of Scream and going after, or not going after, but playing into those things. They said something to Wes Craven about how fake the knife looked in the stabs because it's a retractable knife. They said something to him and he just didn't care and was like, yeah, so what, and just kept it that way. Made no effort to make it different. So I think it would be hilarious. I don't know if he's going to take as much physical damage. I think he's going to get emotionally taken out this time. I think
emotional damage. That's all that went through my head when you said that. Sorry.
I think we're losing Mindy, and I think it's going to kill him.
So, here's my thing about Mindy and Grumpy Gorehound. We are getting to this, Chad. I'm so excited to get to that. But I will say, with what Clark Kent is saying here, I think with Chad dying, like if he actually does die, like if we do go so far as to kill him, I feel like that's going to be a more upsetting death. I feel like a lot of people have problems with Mindy, and that's kind of why I would want to keep her alive, is in order to hopefully correct some of these things. Like, you know, when it comes to the Randy character, you know, like the Randy-esque person, I want this, like, what makes Randy so great in the original Scream is that he's right. Like, he has it down at a certain point. Like, he's like, oh my God, oh, yeah, dude. But no one listens to him because he's a dork. And that's,
well, now
like,
no one listens to Mindy because she's wrong.
Exactly. See, that's the problem. So Randy is like shy and right. Mindy is the opposite. She's confident and wrong. That's what I don't like about. That's what doesn't work about Mindy. If she was right and nobody was listening to her for whatever reason, that would be awesome. And I think they've put themselves into a position with Scream 7 where Mindy can be that character in a new way. She was wrong in the previous 2 flicks. So now if Mindy starts getting up and she's like, listen, guys, we're in a requel threequel, everyone's going to be like, Mindy, shut the fuck up. What do you were wrong the last couple of times. Get out of here. And Mindy's going to be like, damn, no one will listen to me anymore. But what if she is right this time? What if she calls it? But nobody wants to listen to her because she was wrong. She didn't even make it to the third act last time. That would be hilarious. That would be like an insane long. That's the long game with Mindy. That maybe they're playing. You can take your tinfoil hats off now, ladies and gents.
Well, here's the thing. I think what would be a way to go is arguing my point again about Chad dying. Chad is on the Dewey. He's on the Dewey character arc. He is. Like, we can't deny that he's kind of had the Dewey character arc this whole time. He's got, like, in 6, he was definitely the heart of like bringing everyone together. He gets like decimated, yet somehow makes it out. He has the love interest with the other person in the group, the best friend / sister of the main character. So like, he's definitely he's the Dewey role. Losing Mindy would just really put him more into that arc with how, you know, Dewey lost Tatum. Dewey lost pretty much everyone in his life. Like, however, to argue your point, I think it would be really good if that happened, but the only person to truly believe her was Chad, which is what makes him realize he needs to show up to help her just in time to sacrifice himself to save Mindy.
Oh, that could be kind of crazy though. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I really wouldn't mind. I think one of them needs to go because I think we need an emotional death. I think that's kind of where I want a good place to, to bury this. Cause I feel like we got kind of robbed of an emotional death in Scream 6. So I think more than anything, I want to feel something coming out of a Scream movie. Like, I'm going to be so real with you. I'm going to cry my eyes out watching as Steve Harrington dies in Stranger Things season 5. That's my prediction. I'm putting it out there right now. I'm going to bawl my eyes out. But I hope that
the show his death while back in Chicago plays over.
No. Oh man. Just cut my heart into pieces. Why don't you? But I want Scream 7 to do the same. I want Scream 7 to give me emotional damage, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So
that's what I said too. Like, believe me, if Mindy dies, I don't think the majority. Well, here's the thing: the new audience would care. The new audience would care. I think
the new audience would care. Yeah.
You know what would be a good death for her is if we bring up, as we have, you and I here, if it gets notated that she's been wrong both times, and she goes off on her own to prove she's right, and she is.
Oh.
And that's how she dies.
Oh, man. I love that. No, that's heartbreaking. I love that.
That would be like, because she's by herself. Like, she goes off to prove it, like, I'll show you guys. And she's right, and she pays the price for it.
Oh my God. Okay, you know what? That could work for me. And again, I think that's good writing because you're building up something that's been consistent with the character. I feel like it's a little meta because it's like it's going off of what the fans are saying about said character, and you're building an arc from that. I think that's what Scream does best. If we can accomplish something like that, I don't even care who lives or dies or what. If you're just able to make it based off of, fan reaction, fan chat, make it meta in some sort of way. That's Scream, baby. That's this franchise. Clark Kent, thank you so much for the 2. Grumpy, we got to get to this because Grumpy Gorehound, this is crazy. Thank you for the $50, dude. I really appreciate that. And I love this comment. If Michael Myers can defy physics by pinning 2 people to a wall with a butcher's knife, Ghostface can lift Stu off the ground regardless of who's under the mask. I totally agree. I think that Ghostface, we can't limit Ghostface's ability just based on who's underneath the mask. I just don't think that's as fun. I think that's kind of, whatever. For me, again, I think just when it comes to logic in slashers, that's not my utmost concern. That's a little farther down the list. But how do you feel about that, Eric?
Like I said, I wish I could. There's little things, and maybe it's, I don't know. My brain is stupid. I can't help but fixate on certain little things, a lot of which should not matter. And that's one of those things for me. Like, I don't believe it should dictate everything, but I think there's limits. Like, the suspension of disbelief is very real. Knowing that it's 5 foot, what is Mikey Madsen, like 5'4", 5'3"?
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Yes. I
was
going to say yes.
Knowing that it was her and she's at eye level with Dewey, like that's like a scary, for me, that's like a scary movie level faux pas. Like, it's almost a parody when you see, like, you know how you'll have those old things where you'll see like it's a person and then it switches to their stunt double, but their stunt double is like nowhere near what they are like in a parody movie. Like, for me, like, there's a limit to how much disbelief I can get rid of. And knowing that it's supposed to be like I said, 5'3", Mikey Madsen looking eye level with 5'11", 6 foot David Arquette. Like, I'm just like, I get it. I get it. It's Ghostface. You're not going to get it, but like, give me something. Give me a little. Like, I don't know. I wish I could overlook stuff like that. And in some cases I can, if it earns it. For me, 5 wasn't good enough to earn that stuff. Like,
I just, for me, I wouldn't want to, I just don't want to limit Ghostface. I don't want to say Ghostface can't do this or that because of whatever reason. I also really like the idea that anyone can be Ghostface. I think that's my other thing. Because if we're just looking at the casts of all these movies, like, I wouldn't pick most of these people out and say they could be a killer, in real life. But I think it's more fun to be able to say, like, I have gotten so many comments about McKenna Grace, for instance. A lot of people are like, McKenna Grace is not Ghostface. She's not running around killing people. She's super short and whatever. And I'm like, but that's not the point. Like, the Ghostface reveal should be shocking. It should be able to be anyone in order to really tell a good murder mystery, no matter who is in your cast.
It should be shocking, but it should be shocking for a better reason than I'm shocked that 5'2" person looked like that next to that 6 foot person. Like,
I just wouldn't want to limit somebody from being able to be Ghostface, I guess, is my big point behind that.
And here's the thing. Like, I don't either get people who are all relatively the same height. It's not that hard to do. It's really not that hard to do. Because, like, with the boots, you got 1.5 inches of boot there. You got like 1 inch of fabric and mask on top. People within 3-4 inches of each other is not that hard to find. Like, for Superman, when they filmed Superman and the Clark walking in, they literally hired extras who were all below like 5'8" or something to make David Cornsweet look tall like Superman. So, like, every extra you see was just get a cast like that. Like, if you want Ghostface to be a very short person, pull a Tom Cruise. Get him standing next to the person at some point to show they're not that
Put
short.
Him on a stool.
Put him on an apple box. Let's get the apple boxes in here, all right?
See, listen, my favorite franchise ever is The Lord of the Rings, which is the most attention to detail franchise out there. Nothing even comes close. I will tell you that right now. Those 3 movies, if you watch the behind the scenes of what went into making those films, it is unbelievable. I mean, like nothing, no other movie franchise out there has touched what the attention to detail level of this movie has. When you really learn about how there was guys sitting in a closet for 3 years making all the chainmail armor with little tiny plastic bits for every single warrior character in those movies. That's insane. Nothing. Scream doesn't come close to that by a mile. But I think my thing about Scream is I don't think I need it to get to that point. And that's my thing. When it comes to Lord of the Rings, attention to detail is so important because we're adapting a source material. We're building out, a murder mystery essentially. So I think that's why I'm a little more lenient on it versus, a fantasy epic, I guess. But I guess I don't want to make this a victim of comparison. I think they're two different franchises.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I'm going to say something here that's probably going to make people gasp. I've never seen the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings. I've never watched Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God. So, hit a pause.
I'm going to say I've tried 3 separate times and I fell asleep. But by the time the fireworks end, I'm already asleep. I don't know why it is impossible for me to get into those movies.
Here's what I'm going to say, Eric. You and I have been making a lot of movies lately, and it's been a lot of fun. Next time you come up here, we're just going to binge watch those 3 movies. I will die on this hill. That is the best trilogy ever made, and nothing comes close. Oh my God.
I've never heard anything but good things. However, something in my brain, I think I need to shotgun 2 Red Bulls and an espresso before I start it, because something about the opening and like I said, the fireworks in the beginning of the first one, I can never get past that. My interest is already I've seen all the Hobbit movies.
You've seen all the Hobbits, but you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings? Oh man, dude.
All the Hobbits, haven't seen Lord of the Rings. I don't know why. I can't anyway, going back to the thing, I almost think it should be the opposite, because the whole point of these movies is a murder mystery. So you need to pay attention to those details to figure it out. So if they're wrong on those details, and I'm not saying if you do have, I'm not saying no one can be not anyone can be Ghostface. I'm not ruling anyone out. I'm just saying make it so that it could be anyone in the cast, but make it that way logically.
I guess I just appreciate the movie magic that goes into keeping Ghostface mysterious outside of logic. You know what I mean? Because again, if we're going by that means, well, then why is he using a knife instead of a gun? That's where I want to go next with that question. You know what I mean? I just feel
that's answerable. That's just because of tradition. Because that's what Billy and Stu used. I think
not every killer, directly relates to them though. Especially Richie and Amber, I feel.
Richie and Amber were diehard Stab fans though. They really wanted to make a Stab movie, and that Stab just follows Scream. So I think it's tradition at that point.
I don't know. I can't let things like that bug me, because then I just feel like I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of different things. But we can agree to disagree.
We've talked about this so much. I will say this: if it's a good movie, if it's good enough, like Part 3, for instance, I didn't know until Craven pointed it out to me that there was kind of a logical inconsistency for how long it takes Roman to get to the complete other side of the set when Sidney's in the mock-up house. Never recognized it because I enjoyed the movie so much. So if it's a great movie, that's not going to ruin a movie for me. It won't. Even if it's an okay movie, that didn't ruin 5 for me. However, you gotta have everything else tight for me to ignore that kind of stuff.
Scream 3's tight though.
I felt I love Scream 3.
I like Scream 3. I enjoy Scream 3. I don't know if it's a tight movie though. I don't know. But that's just my opinion.
It's my number 4 in the franchise.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I respect it. 3's it's like a Scooby-Doo episode to me. You know what I mean? It's fun for what it is, but I It doesn't hit the same levels as the other movies for me.
No, that's why it's part 4. I think it's number 4 for me. It's 1, 2, 4, 3, 5, 6.
Yeah. I need like, I think another thing for me is like, if we're gonna do a slasher, I need bloody kills. I need like kills that feel like would be in a slasher movie, and I just don't. I think there's one kill in Scream 3 that feels like a slasher movie kill, and like the Sarah Darling kill, the setup, the execution. I think it's probably my favorite part of all of Scream 3, if I'm being honest. I think that one chase and kill is really well done. Outside of that, I don't know. I'm just not. None of the other kills really do it for me.
Dude, you know what got me about 3? 3 legitimately scared me in a creepy tone because of like ghosts. Sydney's mom. Like Sydney's mom.
The Sydney's
like,
mom stuff, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it legitimately terrified me. And when she walks into like her mom's murder scene, how it was set up and staged, bro, I thought that was terrifying. I saw this comment as it rolled up on the side over there. I want to say I bought this hoodie for that specific reason, or not hoodie, but this flannel for that reason. Like I was picking out some long sleeve shirts because I didn't really have any, and it got real cold here real fast. I came across the plaid, and I'm like, well, going for the blue and red flannel.
Were you on the Lethal Collective yesterday when we were talking about doing a stream where everyone's in blue flannel?
No, I wasn't.
That's so funny because we were literally like Erica was even talking about it. She's like, you guys should all do a stream where everyone's wearing blue flannel before like a new Scream movie. So I think that's what we're going to do before we get to the last Lethal Collective stream before we get to Scream 7. But honestly, I thought you did it on purpose. I was like, damn, Eric's
I did.
on it.
I did.
He did. Yeah, he did, Erica.
Okay, I did it on purpose, but it wasn't really for the because of Lethal Collective. I just like, oh, it's a Scream stream. I got to put on the blue flannel.
Killing it. Just killing it out here. We love it.
You did notice that with McKenna Grace, right?
Yes, I did.
The blue plaid skirt. Okay. Because I was like, I pointed that out tonight on his stream, and I'm like, I don't care at that point. Like at this point, I'll relinquish my opinion on that. I think she has the potential to have some really crazy eyes. So I'm all for her being a Ghostface.
So okay. But we see Ghostface doing some crazy shit in the trailer. Like, you're okay with that being McKenna Grace? Because like I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm like, whoever it ends up being, whatever. But we see Ghostface jumping down from the attic. I can't do that at 27. I'm just gonna my knees would blow out of my legs and I would be on the ground crying. You could jump out of an attic to the ground, dude. No way. I couldn't do that.
I could.
You know what? Yeah. I respect it, but like, dude, oh my god, I'd be crying like a little.
I'll video it. Like it's
okay.
I'll video it, but I'm not. Here's the thing, like, because that's legitimately the argument that some people have made on why it can't be Stu because of how spry Ghostface looks. I'm like, are you aware of like the ages of some of our action heroes, like currently? Like, I'm like
if Amber can't lift up Dewey, then why can old man Stu jump out of an attic? That's my only argument there. I don't care. It doesn't bug me. I could care less who it ends up being if they're jumping out of.
He doesn't go like a full floor drop.
Dude, it is a full floor. Oh man, he's totally dropping.
He doesn't like jump directly out and go straight down. Like he like lowers himself a little, right?
The way the trailer was edited, and again, it could be different in the movie, it looks like he goes and he like jumps up and down. And like, at least the attic that I had growing up, like, I mean, it's up there, man. I mean, you're jumping pretty like high distance.
I think the standard height of a story is 8 feet. So you would need that would be rough, but I don't think he's jumping like down.
This is a great cap for that conversation. If you don't check your brain at the door when going into a slasher, you're guaranteed to be disappointed on some level. Enjoy the kill count and popcorn. You know what, Grumpy Gorehound, I appreciate the 10. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the comment. I will say though, like 5 was the first Scream movie, and I remember saying this specifically on Steven's channel. If I turn my brain off, I really enjoy 5. I don't feel like Scream should be a movie where I have to turn my brain off to enjoy it.
I feel like to some degree I turn my brain off with Scream movies, but not in for me, what I want a Scream movie to set up more than anything is like, can you do the commentary really well? Like, I think the commentary, and can you do the like some sort of commentary on the space of horror? Can you fool me with the Ghostface and their motive? I think if you accomplish these two things, I'm going to be happy in some sort of way. I want to be fooled, and I want there to be some sort of thoughtful commentary.
Yeah, that's what I want. I also want there to be really good kills. And I want the motive has to be good or non-existent. Those are the only two options. Like, I don't want to hear, like, I don't want someone in the theater to be Stu's sister when Ghostface takes their mask off. Like, I don't want that, you know?
Timothy Oliphant, it gets a big paycheck
exactly.
just to come in.
I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. Because like someone literally did it. Like, I saw it a couple times in theaters. I saw 6 a couple times in theaters, and someone literally went, "Richie's brother, Richie's sister." And I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't want that. Like, that is the most unoriginal. Give me someone. I would rather it be someone I know nothing about. You know what I want? And I've said this before. This is the last thing I'll say about it. You watch the Sherlock Holmes movies?
I've seen those.
Okay, so there's always this point throughout the Sherlock Holmes movies where you see Sherlock just random, like, there's dialogue going on, but he's randomly touching something or looking at something or just like holding something up. And then at the very end, there's this layout, this rundown of, oh yeah, he was looking at that and he smelled it because of this. And we saw him listen to that or see that. And this is why it was important. I want that in a reveal where you're like, what? And then you mentally go back through and you're like, oh, they were right there in the background watching, or they were right there, like looking at this. I want that where it's like, yeah, if you really paid attention, you can see who the killer is. And I don't think we get that. I don't think we get that in like 5 or 6.
I'll agree with you on 6 because I think 6 has the worst mystery of the whole franchise. But I think 5, there's a lot of little nuances, especially between Amber and Richie, that I really appreciate. They have a whole conversation at the hospital where they're pretending to meet each other, and there's like nice little things happening in their dialogue.
Throwing shade at each other.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, that's nice on rewatch. There's nice little details. Even in some of the dialogue with Sam and Richie, there's some stuff. There's a few things I've noticed. But what I'll say is I think that 5 and 6 also have a different flavor than 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's another thing that I just don't think this franchise is ever going to get back to because we just don't have Wes Craven. And I think that's something that I just don't know if there's a fix for. You know what I mean? He had a certain flavor with movies that I don't really feel like even the people that try to replicate his stuff can really do. Like Christopher Landon, for instance. I mean, he clearly is a fanboy, but even his movies aren't exactly the same as what Wes Craven brought. And I think that's a whole conversation in and of itself. But I do feel like there's I'll watch like Zach Cherry or Ryan C. Showers, like his podcast, like they'll talk a lot about that. And like, for me, it's like, I totally understand that, but like, that's a flavor that I just feel like we are too far. We are very far away from in this franchise. I don't know if I can ever expect that again. You know, Scream has moved into a different era. And maybe that was the thing that was keeping you coming back, was that Wes Craven flavor. But I don't know. I don't know if we're ever gonna achieve that again.
I think if we are, we have the best possible chance with 7, because I mean, Kevin Williamson worked directly with Wes for 3 movies from this franchise. So I mean, if there's anyone who knows how Wes would have done it, it's probably Kevin Williamson. So not saying we will get back to that flavor, but I do believe that it's the best chance we have to get back to that flavor. I don't think we will, and I don't necessarily think we need to. I'm not opposed to like reinventing, and stuff like that. I want it to be for a good reason, and I want it to be justified. And that's I think that's where a lot of things for me get caught up is like a lot of people are like, yeah, I just want something different. I'm like, yeah, I want it different, but I also want it good. Like, I would rather have a good version of something I've seen before than like a bad execution of a good idea.
I think a lot of people don't like that these movies feel modern too, but like that's just like I cannot see doing a Scream movie in the modern day that takes place back in the 90s and tries to replicate that feel. Like I think because I've even heard some people say like, well, even Scream 4 didn't feel like Scream to me. And I'm like, well, that's because they were trying to go for late, you know what I mean? Like late thousands stuff. Like Scream movies should always try to go for like the current age of film is how I see it. Like I feel like the moment you start making Scream movies that are period pieces, that's when I feel like we're starting to lose the DNA of what Scream is. Like it's modern. It is a modern franchise. Like a lot of people want to say Scream is 90s. I would argue no. Scream is whatever is going on right now. Let's hit on that. And I think that's why people don't like 4, 5, or 6 is because they feel like the time periods they're from versus where 1, 2, and 3 all kind of came out in succession.
I feel like I'll go a step further. I think Scream is a little bit of ahead of its time in each one of them. Like it brings up topics and ideas and concepts ahead of their time. Like part 4, the mask, like filming the kills through the mask. That idea, amazing, ahead of its time in my opinion. Part 3, the voice changer, AI voice changing is like rampant now to a point where there's like legal cases about it. That was ahead of its time. There was some commentary on people in Hollywood, abuse of power in part 3, way ahead of its time. I think a lot of Scream not only is modern, but a lot of it brings up these concepts that really are, like I said, just ahead of their time. So yeah, I have no problem with it being modern. I don't know who said they don't think 4 feels like a Scream movie. 4 felt so much like a Scream movie to me. I was terrified of Ghostface in part 4.
I think it's a fair criticism because I think 1, 2, and 3 have their own vibe, and then like 4 has its own thing, and then 5 and 6 kind of has its own thing. I will agree with in terms of tone. If we're just talking about tone, I think those movies all kind of have something a little different going on. But in terms of execution, I think 4 feels maybe the most like the original than any of the other sequels. That's what I'll say, because I think that 4 hits on the meta commentary the very best for me, at least from all the sequels.
When was 3 released? Because when was 3 released?
So it was 96 for 1, 97 for 2, and then 2000 for Scream 3.
Okay, so those were all within 4 years. 4 came out what, 10 years or 11 years after?
Yeah, it was 2011.
So obviously, yeah, like there's going to be a change in tone, but for me, it was a welcome change in tone because in those years, we went from like the 90s slashers and like, let's not kid ourselves. When Scream came out, so many slashers started moving to that formula. And then we also it was the major reboot franchise or like reboot craze with, I think Rob Zombie's Halloween happened in there. That was 07 and 09. And then
all the Platinum Dunes movies, right?
Yeah. Exactly. TCM was 03. So like, I think 4, like you said, it was a perfect reflection on the state of horror movies at the time. That's why I believe and I will give credit to Brett James Bishop and his cousin who were talking about this, because he's the one who first brought the idea up to me. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. The idea of retconning being one of the meta things that the commentary for Scream 7, because I mean, I think as far as I know, Scream is one of the few of the major slasher franchises that have not retconned anything. So I think retconning could be a big like commentary, and it doesn't even get talked about at all. But if we think we had horror movies, horror movie sequels, horror movie trilogies, horror movie remakes, horror movie requels, requel sequel,
Franchises,
or a franchise,
essentially,
yeah,
right?
franchise.
For
Sorry,
six, yeah.
franchise for 6. The only place left to go that I know of that is a commentary on retconning and
Just getting more specific, right? Like, because that's a little more specific than a sequel or remake. You know what I mean? Retcon is, but I agree. You'd have to get more specific at this point. We're on Scream 7.
And what would a lot of people assume would be a huge retcon? Stu Macher being alive. Bringing it back, baby.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it all back. I want to get to some of these super chats. Thank you guys so much for supporting the page. We got Erica saying only 2 more after this one, and Trashbox Mandy delivered. Thank you so much, Mandy and Erica. Y'all rock. Appreciate it a ton. We made our super chat goal, ladies and gentlemen, so Stu will be the killer in Scream 7. That is not legally binding, but it would be cool if it was, wouldn't it? Frankie's throwing $2 out there.
You had that much power?
Oh my God, if I had that, dude, if that was legit, I think we would have made the super chat goal in the first like 5 seconds, just knowing the Stu crowd. I love that. Frankie, who's got a new movie on Netflix right now. What's up, my friend? Thank you for the 2. Saying, pull the interview up of Stu talking of Matthew Lillard talking about. Send it my way, and I will watch it after this.
I was about to say, I have it on my channel. I can pull it up right now if you want to see it.
I want to see exactly the wording that he says, because again, I'm curious. I want to know precisely what he says. Okay. You know, I'll watch it later. I believe you. It's not like I'm like, oh, I don't think he actually said that. I want to see it with my own eyes, because I like I said, I've had people comment on my videos for years now saying like, no, Stu was part of it, and I'm just like, dog, I've read Kevin Williamson's comments, and he's not made a single mention of Stu. But if maybe Matthew had said something about it, I don't know. But Frankie, thank you for the 2. I greatly appreciate that. Grumpy Gorehound is coming back again. Thank you for the 5, dude. What we really need is a summoning spell to have Craven's spirit possess anyone who directs future sequels. Have Wes Craven come back from the grave and
bring
take
out
over.
The Ouija board. That's in the contract. If you want to direct a Scream movie, you have to openly, willingly sign your soul away to be possessed by Wes Craven.
But I will, to hit on one more thing I was thinking about when we were talking about all that, is I also feel like those movies are so locked into late 90s culture and commentary that wouldn't be relevant now. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those jokes and campiness comes from what movies were like during that time period. And I think that's what people miss about the franchise, that we've seen people try to bring it back, and, you know, and like the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, for instance, I just, that did not work for me at all. Like, it just felt very forced. It felt like they were trying to make something from the past. They were trying to conjure up something from the past again, and it just wasn't working because it's 2025 now. I feel like there's different kinds of campy elements that can work these days that would have maybe worked back in 97 or 98 that just maybe just don't now for whatever reason. I don't know. I saw that in this new I Know What You Did Last Summer film, and I don't know, maybe you have a different feeling about it, whatever, but they were trying to do like late 90s camp in 2025, and it just did not work for me at all. Like, the humor completely fell flat. The performances were way too out there for me to take them even remotely seriously. I don't know. I don't think you could do that movie these days. But that's just my thoughts.
And in reference to Wes Craven, I don't want a Scream 1, 2, or 3 vibe for Scream 7 or any Scream going forward. What I want, in reference to the Wes Craven comment, I want someone who has Wes Craven's ability to sum up the current state of things to put that in a movie. That's what I want for a Scream movie. It doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I want it to be good at what it's trying to be, and I think Scream has a kind of a formula as to what it needs to be. A slasher murder mystery with a commentary on the state of horror movies and like a specific element. And you said it. You want to be surprised and you want it to be commentary on something. I think you have to do that. I think that's a winning formula. The only addition you need is someone who is in touch with the actual state of horror movies and is an actual fan of horror movies. I don't think we've had like misses on that. I think Radio Silence was legitimately fans. I don't think they made terrible Scream movies. I will say that. I don't think they do. I will take Scream 6 or Scream 5, which is my least favorite of the franchise, over a lot of other arguably better horror movies because I love Scream so much. I don't think they made bad Scream movies. I just don't think they were on the level of Wes Craven's Scream movies. And I don't know if anyone will be on that level. Not saying they have to make the same one. In regards to I Know What You Did Last Summer, I enjoyed it more than most people. I was really, even if it didn't land the best, I was really impressed with the swing they took with one of the killers, one of the reveals. Was really impressed. I'm like, oh, they went there. I don't know if it landed 1,000% for me, but I commend them for trying it because there's been a lot of franchises there's been Scream fans saying it's going to go that way. And I'm like, no, it won't. Seeing it go that way. And I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm like, you know what? Now, with that being said, sorry. I believe I told you about this before. I might have brought it up. If it's not Stu, I know who I want it to be.
Okay. Who do you want it to be?
I want it to be Sam Carpenter.
Oh my God.
No, I want something to happen to Sam, and I know what it has to be. It has to be her losing Tara. If Tara is murdered, Sam is going to go off the deep end. And what would Sam want to do? She would want to get rid of everything in the Stab franchise, everything. She would burn the Mucker house down. She would go after Sydney. She would end Sydney's bloodline to get rid of that franchise. How would you feel about that reveal?
For me, I mean, I think that would be awesome. I don't think like that would have to imply that like the controversy is all fake, and I just don't. There's no way. You know what I mean? It's not gonna. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but for me, that would be an amazing end to the series. Like that would be such a great way, I think, to like kind of cap everything off with all the different storylines we have. I don't need Sam Carpenter to have a safe, happy end. I don't. I like the idea that we can have protagonists in this universe, in this story, go down some dark routes. I think, honestly, I respect what they want to do with Sidney Prescott. I respect that they want her to have a happy ending, and they're always going to, defend that point. But like, I don't think it makes sense for Sidney to go Ghostface, but if you wanted to have another character that's a protagonist that leads a couple of films and then she ultimately ends up becoming the killer for whatever reason and we follow her through that journey, that's awesome to me. That's kind of why I'm just like, I think it's okay for Scream to move on from Sydney at a certain point because I want to see a main character that isn't safe again. You know what I mean? I just feel like with Sydney, this is the story we can tell with Sydney, where she is at a distance from Ghostface and it's her daughter who is getting killed. Or potentially getting in trouble. You know what I mean? Scream 7's going to work for that reason, but is there more juice to squeeze out of this orange? You know what I mean? I feel like we are trying everything we can. We're rolling it between our palms to get some sort of drop of something out. And I just don't know I don't know if there's much more left to write with Sydney.
Here's the thing. I don't think, first of all, I was laughing at Erica's comment. She's like, "Thank you so much, Austin. You are now safe from my savvy." I'm like, what has happened in the comments? Sorry. I caught sight of that, and I was like, oh, my God.
Someone's not losing their fingers tonight. Congrats.
Good. Got all them digits. No, I don't think Tatum is the target in 7. I don't.
That's what the plot description says. I'm just in all fairness.
That's what the plot description says. Here's the thing. If Tatum was the target, what would Ghostface do? Kill them first chance they got. What did Ghostface say? And once I will say this with a big grain of salt and shot of penicillin, because they did it in part 6 with the trailer where they had Ghostface saying shit. And then in the movie, that stuff didn't show up. But Ghostface We see Sydney say on the phone, like, don't hurt my daughter, or something like that. And Ghostface says, I'm not going to hurt her until you're here to see it. If Ghostface was after Tatum, Tatum would have been buried at that point. Ghostface wouldn't kidnap or hold Tatum hostage to get Sydney to show up. No, the only reason you would want to kill someone's child in front of them is if they're the one you're after.
I don't think, again, I just don't know if that's a story. I called me controversial, whatever, but I just don't know if that's a story I'm as interested in. I think I'd be more interested in learning about, what Tatum's whole deal is and why a Ghostface would be coming after her. Like we've seen multiple killers come after Sydney for various reasons. What else can they do there that connects back to the past again? Is there something that connects to the past that could affect Tatum in particular? Her daughter for some reason that could intrigue me if we're not going the Stu route. But what worries me about this movie is it's going to be really repetitive. And I think of all the franchises to not be repetitive. It's Scream. This is the series that can go to totally new places with every single sequel. It doesn't have to just repeat something that happened before in the past. And yet it continues to.
I think it would be awesome and refreshing to, and to that point really quick, I'm not saying that I believe that is where the story's going to go. I don't believe Sydney's going to be in the forefront of the whole movie. I think Tatum probably will be. We probably will get a movie where Tatum is the one being stalked and being followed. But I think the goal is ultimately not to kill Tatum, but to get to Sydney. Because, like I said, man, why would you have that line in there? Why wouldn't you just take out your target and get it done unless you want to hurt Sydney? Because I could be missing something, but can you think of any other reason you would want to wait and potentially risk them? I can think of one alternate theory. People will probably hate it, but I can think of an alternate theory as to what's going on with that.
What I'll say is that if this movie features Ghostface trying to attack Sydney, I just don't think there's going to be any tension or suspense. That's what I'm worried about, because we're never going to kill Sydney Prescott. We've made that unbelievably clear. I think if they know what they're doing, which I really hope they do, they're going to focus on chasing around her loved ones and maybe even killing one of them, which tells me that they can die. If they don't generate tension through that, and they try to generate tension by chasing around Sydney with a knife and she's like, oh no, what's going to happen to me? That's not scary anymore. Sorry, but the director has outright told us, and the actress herself, that Sydney Prescott is not going to die. To me, that is the biggest shoot yourself in the foot moment if you're a slasher director. I don't understand why Kevin would double down on that. I don't think that makes any sense at all. If you're directing a horror movie in general, do not tell me the fate of the main character. That is the worst thing you could possibly do, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. And like I said, I don't think she's going to be the main character. I think you're 100% right. The two options I can think of, because they laid that out in the trailer, is that Ghostface wants to hurt Sydney, but knows they're not going to, they can't actually physically hurt her. Next best thing, I think Mark is a goner. After that trailer, there's no way
he's
Mark
dead.
Evans is walking out of it. You see him dead. I'm pretty sure you see him dead in the trailer. So that he's gone. What is your opinion? Quick side question. What's your opinion on how many kids Sydney has? Because apparently she has 2, but there's no mention of number 2.
There has to be a baby. Otherwise, what was that baby in 5? Tatum? They grow up quick. You know what I mean? Holy shit.
According to Tatum's birthday, she either had to be born right before the events of Scream 4 or right after the events of Scream 4. If the timeline's adding up, that's when she had to be born. I've seen, now Chris is saying Sydney has 3 kids. If you Google it, some places say 3. We get 1. I have one other theory and it's a terrible one. I don't want it to happen. I'm pretty sure you don't want it to happen because it's kind of been done before with Jill, but what if Tatum is a killer?
I'm going to do a whole video on this, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think that could be bad. I think that could be really bad if they want to keep the Sydney story going. That's what I'll say.
Because I'm like, the only other option is Tatum isn't really kidnapped. We see Tatum get chased. We see all this stuff happen. But then they're calling like, yeah, we're not going to do anything to her until you show up. She's really one of them. I'm like, that's a real big copy of Scream 4. But if we've seen anything from the writers of 5 and 6, which this is the same writer of, they kind of have a habit of cloning some of the previous sequels.
Yeah.
So I hope not. I'm just saying that's the only other thing I could think of. Don't want that to be the case at all. I think, like I said, I don't think we're going to see Sydney being chased. You're right. Absolutely right. There is no tension there. We know she's not going to die. It's just like when they announced that the new Halloween was going to be a trilogy. Nothing's happening in part 2 because there's got to be a third movie. That's why Halloween Kills is like one of my least favorite of the franchise. I knew going into it, nothing is really going to happen. So I'm 100% on board with you there. It like saying that she's in no real physical danger. She can't die. Doesn't mean she can't suffer.
I love Halloween Kills. That's all I'll say. But anyway, I do agree. I want to see Sydney suffer, not be the target. I think that's kind of something very important for if this movie's going to work or not. I would go so far as to say I don't think the movie's going to work if Sydney's like just the main focus the entire time. I just don't think there's too much more story left to write there. But Grumpy Gorehound is saying, incidentally, I've seen the Scream 7 trailer. In my opinion, it looks like the Lifetime channel trying to do horror on their equivalent of steroids. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm not expecting a high kill count. Grumpy Gorehound, I feel like we've been on the same page all night, and this is where I got to respectfully disagree. I've seen a lot of people throw this take out there. I don't know what is making people say it looks like a Lifetime channel horror movie. I genuinely don't. I've seen it a couple of times. So Lifetime channel movies are shot really poorly. Post-production on them is non-existent. Essentially, they look like just stock footage put together crap movies that aren't shot very well, just put out real fast to have something on the page. I don't understand that. I think the cinematography looks pretty damn good. I think the coloring is pretty excellent. I think it's a little more vibrant than most movies that are typically gray. I actually thought Scream 5 especially was really gray. I did not like the way that the coloring was done on that film. This is a lot warmer of a movie, which I actually appreciate. I think the kills look even more vicious than what we got in 5 and 6. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it looks like this is going to be the bloodiest Scream movie ever.
I don't know about ever. I would put 4 up there with that one. Simply because of the Olivia kill. I'm a stand for that Olivia kill, man.
It's my favorite kill in the whole franchise.
Hell yeah, I was about to say she was strewn all 4 corners of that room, man. I haven't seen anyone say it looks like a Lifetime channel trying to do it.
This is a big take on Twitter right now. A lot of people are saying that it looks like the trailer makes the movie look like trash.
I can tell you from being on set, a lot of time went into it. It's not they didn't skimp on production. I can tell you that from, like I said, being on set. Like, it was legit. That I don't know what I haven't seen anyone. Like I said, I haven't been as deep into it as I usually get, as I probably should be. But it was, I thought the trailer looked good, man. I thought Ghostface looks great. I love the idea of the animatronic, although did you pick up on the trailer that it's 2 spliced together shots? One of them is not an animatronic. I don't know. I didn't get that feeling, man.
I've heard people say it's not an animatronic. I think it is an animatronic so people have said that the reverse shot on Michelle Randolph, you can see it move, but the camera moves, and you can tell that it's just the camera. It's not the animatronic.
What I'm talking about is, I'm not even talking about the reverse shot. I'm talking, okay, so when you see it first move and like lift up, then it cuts to him saying, "Oh, it's an animatronic." That's 2 different scenes, because in the scene where you see it lift up, she's walking up to it, and then it immediately.
Okay, yeah,
Then it immediately. I think it's an animatronic when he's there. It's not an animatronic when she's there.
Okay,
I'd bet on it right now. I'd put a bet on it right now.
I'll say this. I would love if we got 2 killers in the opening scene. Just say, fuck it. Yeah, just here we go. 2 killers. It's going to be at least 2 of them.
I'd bet on it right now.
That would be, I would not complain about that. That would be a huge shock because I feel like we kind of have the whole opening scene already figured out and that would suck. You know what I mean? It's just going to be Jimmy Tatro and Michelle Randolph getting killed and then the house burns down.
I have a theory, and it might be a terrible theory. That's not the opening scene.
I've heard, you know what, the Night Watch Zone told me that you think that's the end of the movie, and I think that's awesome.
I think that would be the end. And in your final scene of the movie, as you're walking out, like I said, I think Sydney and Tatum are triumphant. They think they've ended this whole thing. We cut to the Mocker house. All the recent killings have blown up the booking for this Airbnb. This just happens to be the unlucky people who are staying in it that night. And the last shot of the movie you see is Ghostface or multiple walking out of the Mocker house burning down. And that's what you have to stew on for a year until Scream 8.
That would be awesome. That would be a great cliffhanger. Because it's not as consequential to the ongoing story. It's clearly setting something else up. And I think that's another problem I have with the Scream cliffhanger is whatever, like if they try to say like, oh, there's still a ghost face out there from the cast you just hung out with the whole movie. We'll figure it out. Like the internet will figure it out by the time we get to the next movie. That would be an awful way to do a cliffhanger in the series. So something like that, where it's simply setting up, oh, there's another ghost face and we're coming back to this story with the next movie. This is a 2-parter. That would be the way to do it. I would love that.
I believe, because I don't know. I think that would be, we always see the opening kill in a trailer. So I think 95% chance it is the opening. But I think that would be really awesome if that like subverted our expectations, because we're going in thinking, okay, we're going to watch this couple get murdered in the opening, but we don't see that. That like we start somewhere completely different with someone we've never met. And that's the opening. That would be awesome, I think.
I think that would be cool. I think that would be surprising because I'm fully expecting the movie to just start at night in Woodsboro again. So if it doesn't, that lends itself to so many more questions. And I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see where this movie takes us, how it starts, how it ends. I will say, Grumpy Gorehound, thank you for the 10. They follow this up with another 5 saying, I'm referring to the plot as it's revealed in the trailer. The steroids comment refers to the cinematography. So it feels like Lifetime because of the plot more or less to you and the cinematography. It feels just like a tip. Like, I think my criticism is it just kind of, as it stands right now, it just feels like a typical requel. Like, just feels like typical Hollywood blockbuster requel film where it's Sydney. We're following Sydney's daughter now. You know what I mean? We're following in the Ghostbusters movies. It's the daughter and it's the daughter and granddaughters or whatever of one of the original Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? That to me is what I'm criticizing about it. I guess I don't know if Lifetime movie is significantly worse than anything Hollywood is trying to pump out. I feel like that's low down on the scale. Like CW is like here, Lifetime movies are here. You know what I mean? Like that's something else, man. But I don't know. All I'll say is respect. I respect it. I don't think it looks that bad. I think that I've definitely seen worse looking trailers.
I think Kirby needs to be the opening kill.
Why Kirby? What does that say about this killer?
It says more about like the franchise, because she's following the exact same path as Cotton Weary.
Yeah.
So okay, in part one,
explain, because I'm lost.
In Scream 1, we hear mention of Cotton Weary, and we see him on screen in a news reel of him being arrested.
Yeah.
In part 5, we see a news clip of Kirby Reed doing an interview. In part 2, Cotton Weary's in it a little bit. He's part of the cast, major factor in saving Sydney at the end, or saving the protagonist at the end. Not a huge character, though. Part 7, Kirby, a little bit bigger of a part, not the biggest part, essential to saving the protagonist at the end of the movie. Part 3, Cotton Weary is the opening kill to kick it all off.
Yeah.
Part 7, Kirby Reed. Kick it all off.
I will say about Cotton, just to make a little point about that, I feel like his death in Scream 3 is really thematic based on where we came from with his whole story in Scream 2. I would go so far as to say that Cotton Weary is a side antagonist in Scream 2. Like, I don't think he's not a good guy. He's not here to save Sydney. He just wants that Diane Sawyer interview. And I think I don't think I wouldn't go. He's not a ghost face, you know what I mean? But he's not exactly
he's an anti-hero.
I wouldn't call him a hero at all. I think he's just self-serving. He's just trying. He's out for fame. He's out to create a new image for himself because everyone believes that he was the original killer, but he wasn't. So now he's just motivated by fixing his image, and I just don't see him as a hero at all. I think he's just a selfish dude.
But he kind of is. I mean, he saved Sydney. If he wasn't there, Sydney would have died. I think that's kind of that's the way the movie played out. If he hadn't have been there to shoot. Now, if Sydney hadn't have said yes to the interview, she would have also died. I have no doubts he would have been like, fucking kill her, I don't care. I have no doubts he would have done that. But as the things played out, he was a hero in that regard. However, I think we've set Kirby up to be like a hunter of ghost faces. I think it could work out. We see Kirby going to investigate a murder, opening her, and this is something just kind of off the cuff. Her going to investigate a murder because we know she's FBI or whatever, and she wanted to hunt ghost faces down. That would be a whole other set of ghost faces making killings, and Kirby dies.
I just had goosebumps thinking about something real quick.
What's that?
What if Kirby's going back to visit her parents in Woodsboro at her house, and she fucking gets gutted in the same place where Charlie tried to kill her by a new ghost face?
Bro.
Dude, how fucking upsetting would that be? And so we start and end the movie in Woodsboro. You know what I mean? Like, if the ending scene is Stu Macher's house being burnt down, how fucked up would that would suck. That would.
Here's the thing: if you believe Ghostface is going to quote unquote burn it all down, that means everyone associated with the franchise has got to go. That includes Kirby Reed.
Yeah. Yeah. And if she really is the ghost face hunter, you know what I mean? Like that would be an interesting place to start for this ghost face. It's like we're knocking that out of the way so I can move on to the main focus. So that's a really interesting thought for sure. That would be a really great misdirection if we still start the movie in Woodsboro, so we think, oh, we're getting to this Stu's house burning down, but we go another place instead. Another popular third act location in the Scream franchise that's also in Woodsboro. Crazy. But anyways, Mastermind Killer's throwing 5 out there saying Scream 7 is about deep fake and AI. Thank you for the 5. The people, Craven, pun intended, Stu's return are being deep faked by the trailer, in my opinion. The killer is Mark Consuelos. Thoughts on that, Eric?
So I've heard the deep fake and AI, and I think that will play a part in it. I've always maintained that what I think the twist would be is that since we know Scott Foley's coming back, we know we're going to have a Roman either flashback or deep fake. However, now that we heard Dewey's voice in the trailer, we know it's going to be AI or deep fake, or just one of the old school Scream 3 voice changers. I would love for them to bring that back. I think the twist would be that we see these people being replicated. I thought what would happen is video footage of the murders being edited to make it look like past killers have done it. Like someone gets their mask ripped off, but they edit the footage with like AI or deepfake and make it look like it was Roman or something like that. I think it would be used, but Stu, by the time it gets to Stu, everyone's assuming, yeah, it's deepfake. It's just AI. The twist is now Stu's the real one.
That could be it. I really don't think Mark Consuelos is the killer though. That's my 2 cents with this. I really feel like he's a side character that has like 5 lines. Like that's kind of.
I think he's going to be like a co-anchor with Gail because we know they shot at Gail's studio, her news studio. So I think he's probably just a co-anchor.
I've heard some people say he might be like a love interest, and like, here's my thing: the last time we had a love interest for Gale, I don't think he had a line in the movie.
He did. It's for you.
That's it. Like that's all. I'm pretty sure that's it. I think that guy was on set for a day, dude. Like, there's no way. I don't know. So Mark Consuelos, cool. We'll see what he's all about in this movie. But I don't think it's going to be much. If he's the killer, that would be the biggest twist to these movies. I'll tell you what. But Paul, thank you for the 5, man. Thank you so much for supporting the page. I appreciate you. Our shot Ali's thrown 5 out there saying, do you think they're misleading us and might actually go the new Nightmare? And I don't. But I would love this movie. I would love a new Nightmare Scream movie. I think that would be a ton of fun.
A new, what would it even be called? A new Scream?
Scream. Just call it Scream again. I have 3 movies in this franchise called just Scream.
Don't do that. No, there's 3 Halloweens.
There is 3 Halloweens.
There's 3 Halloweens.
Hey, one of those is not a new Nightmare Halloween though. So I'm just saying. I would honestly, what I would love about a new Nightmare Scream is I just think you could have the entire original cast come back and have one of them like have them basically be able to play different roles. You know what I mean? You could have Nev Campbell being the killer. You could have Jamie Kennedy being the killer. You could have whatever. Any sort of fan fiction you wanted to bring to life, this would be the way to do it, I think, with the original film.
You know, someone brought up, and I want to say it was Destin over at Destination Station, a concept he brought up that I thought would be real interesting. Is if they went a new Nightmare route with Scream, set it, and obviously we're not getting this because we've seen a trailer, set it at a convention, like a horror convention where they're all gathered. The whole legacy cast is back for a convention. Someone starts getting murdered and they lock it down. And then like the cast starts getting picked off. But you have a whole movie full of horror legends. Like getting, I don't know. It was a cool concept, I thought. But yeah, I don't want them to break up the Scream continuity. Because at this point, Scream hasn't been retconned. And like we have a continuous story. I think the only other franchise that I can think of that has that is Child's Play. Every other one has been retconned to death and all that. So,
see, I guess I'm weird. I'm fine with them creating a new timeline. It's not a huge deal to me, just because I feel like we're jumping through hoops to make certain stories happen in this universe, and it's only going to get worse with each new movie. And like, the Child's Play show takes place after all the movies, and I think it had to kind of do the same thing as well, but it didn't even really care to do that. It was just like, we're just going to go as goofy as possible because we have to continue this ongoing story, and we're not going to care about any of that shit. So I don't know. You know, for me, I think if you're going to do, I think you have 2 options moving forward with Scream after 7. You know, if you're not going to tell a Sydney story, either you can start a new timeline or you can just focus on other characters and not fuck with the timeline at all. And that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. I don't need it to continue. Like, I feel like Scream could have been episodic if we go back to, you know, if we were just continuing straight off of 1. I felt like you could have gone after just new people with each new movie. There's just a new Ghostface popping up somewhere.
Like the TV show.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like the TV show for sure. I've always kind of dug that vibe about the show. I still like all the movies over the show, and I think that's just because quality of, you know, characters and relationships. It's just for movies versus TV, most of the time movies win that argument or that fight. Well, this is just one of those situations.
And I think there was like whispers of it. I don't know if I ever heard anything official or anything like that. Tatum is the perfect way to introduce that, because we know from her that there's been Ghostface killings that she's monitored, not involving Sydney. Have her, like, we could have a movie about Herbie going out to like look into a string of Ghostface killings of someone we've never met before. Completely introduce a new protagonist.
That could be interesting. I'd be open-minded to it, dude. I'm down just for something. I want a fresh character to tell their story, essentially. Like, I think that's my big thing. It's not that I don't like Sidney Prescott. She's great. But I also feel like her story's been over for many, many, many movies now. And I bet
she feels the same way. She's probably like, you got to imagine how she feels. She's probably like,
yeah,
again with this? again, what the hell did I do to piss you off? Like, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm sorry my mom did some stuff, but that's not me.
She's running a coffee shop now. Like, just let her do her thing.
The little latte, I think is what she's calling it. Like,
that's cute.
Just let the woman have a cappuccino and relax with her daughter, for the love of God.
That's what I'm saying, man. Scream can. I really do believe Scream can exist without Sydney. I don't know. It's just maybe it's a hot take. Everyone's like, no, there's only Sydney movies forever and ever. But I
don't agree with it. I do think I think there's a nostalgia and there's a love for Sydney because she's the one who started it. But I think, like I said, I don't think 5 and 6 are bad, and they didn't follow Sydney. Sydney was in them. I think you could completely or Sydney wasn't in 6, and I think that was a decent movie. I think there was a great Scream movie in 6 that could have been executed a little better. The concept I dug, like I was there for it the whole time. I think if you go back and you make the killers not related to Richie and just some fans, you got a great Scream movie to me.
I think it actually would have been Scream 6 would have been better if the opening scene was reversed. It's Richie's family getting killed by the fans. Bro, I mean, how awesome would that have been?
Are you kidding? I've never heard that before. That's amazing.
The moment you said that, I was like, oh, that would have been way better.
Bro, if you just switch those two, what if you switch those two and you mentioned this, maybe it's you mentioned this or someone else. We talked to so many people about Scream. It's hard to like keep clear what if we knew? What if we just went through the movie and it was no longer murder mystery, which that does detract from it a little bit. But what if we knew who one of the killers was the whole time and we see them interacting with the cast? Like what if 6 had gone that way? Like we never see Greg, for instance. We see Jason. We never see Greg. We know Greg's helping, but we never know who Greg is.
Dude, if it was Tony Revolori and let's say, Quinn or something like that, like let's just say it was those two and they had a different motive, like they weren't related to Richie, that would have been fucking awesome. Like I would have been so much more into something like that. It's college kids doing it again for just because they were fans of Richie and they want to blame it all on Sam. Fuck Sam.
We need to make. I know you already made your Scream fan film. We need to make a Scream film, man. We can make a great one.
If I do another Scream fan film, I want to do more of a straight up I want to do more of just a straight up murder mystery kind of thing, like where you're actually trying to figure out who it is. I have an idea for a killer that might work. That's the only reason I would want to do it. But I don't know. Maybe I'll tell you about it when we're off stream. But I don't know.
The goat on live here.
I don't like to make the same movie twice. We're talking about working on a feature right now, and even that I'm pitching it in different ways. I won't get too much into that, but I don't know if I need to make another Scream fan film, but I love the one that I have, and if I were to do it again, I would want to make it drastically different than what I've already done, I guess. But Arshad, thank you for the 5. Grumpy Gorehound is also saying Kirby will be the first kill that triggers the opening credits.
That's what I'm saying. That's an emotional kill. That's a really emotional kill. We thought we lost her. We got her back. We really lose her.
It'll trigger the waterworks in my eyes because I love this character so much. We thought we lost her and now she's really gone. That's fucked up. But Grumpy Gorehound, thank you for the 5. I that would bum me out. And I love Mastermind Killer saying, just kidding about it being Mark Consuelos. It's Betty Pepper. Did you hear? You weren't there for the Lethal Collective last night, but I was saying the killer in Scream 7 it's not gonna be Billy's mom, Debbie Salt. It's gonna be Stu's mom, Betty Pepper, or something stupid like that. And I'm like,
how dare you? Respect on Debbie Salt's name. She put work in.
That's what I want to do for my new Scream fan film. I'm going to create a character named Betty Pepper, and she's going to be the killer. And she's going to be somebody's distant mother cousin or some ridiculous thing like that. That's
Twice
original.
Removed.
Yeah.
By marriage.
By marriage. We haven't seen that family member kill people yet.
That's why I don't want it to be Stu's sister, man. Don't make it someone. Don't make it a blood relative of any of the legacy cast or legacy at this point. Any previous victims, survivors, ghost faces. I don't even want to be. I don't want it to be fucking Principal Embry's great grandson. No, no one. No one.
Principal
like that, okay?
Embry's grandson. Oh my god.
Like, I don't want to. I don't want to see any of that. Okay, either make it original, and for me, Stu coming back would be an original Ghostface reveal because we've never gotten a Ghostface reveal where it was a previous Ghostface. Of course, because none of them have survived outside of Stu, we just finally have an opportunity for Stu to come back, you know?
If they did it in like Scream 2, I'd be so down for it. I just, whatever. It's not, I'm not getting into it, but I will say Betty Pepper, killer in Scream 7, we're making it happen. Mastermind Killer, thank you for the 2.
What if we come out and that is Anna Camp's actual character name?
Betty Pepper, I'd lose my if I was Nostradamus on that, I'd lose my fucking mind. I'd be like, that's the craziest shit ever. I will, I'll say about Scream is again, if they're gonna bring back Stu, I need a cool motive. I need a reason why he waited 30 years and why he's been hanging out in that basement for all this time. I don't mean to bring it back to that subject again, but I want a good reason to bring back Stu. He's just the sidekick character from the original film, and I love him. I think he's a great character, but I need a good reason for why he's been kept alive this whole time. I think there's ways you could do it. There's the we were kind of talking about the idea of like there's somebody who's obsessed with him. You know what I mean? They love the stab movies so much they want him to be a killer again. So maybe they found where he was staying or something, and now they're pushing him to do it again. There's ways you could spin it. There's ways you could spin it, man.
I actually really, really love that. What if he like had no interest in killing again? Like, what if he's like, I got my ass handed to me. I'm done with this. I was really only in it for Billy because let's be honest, he was in love with Billy.
He was.
And like they come like some people like pull him out and he has to start doing it to like get rid of them. But then he realizes how much he really enjoyed it.
And he starts getting the taste for blood again, I could get into something like that, right?
And then he's like, then he wants to go back to his childhood home, back where it all started, and he sees these true crime junkies have turned his home into a museum, and none of it probably is even going to mention him. His name's probably going to be a footnote to Billy Loomis.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know. That would be a really good way to go. I had never thought of that. Good. That's a good way to go, I think. If he hasn't been there because he doesn't want to be there. He got away, built a new life away from it.
We're seeing themes of that in the trailer, which is why that's where my mind's going. You know what I mean? We're seeing themes of this is somehow about true crime elements to it, whatever. I got to get off. I'm getting the eyes. But Grumpy Gorehound, thank you for the 5. Greatly appreciate that. You're also saying sorry meant bearded, not Clark. I was wondering. I was like, hang on now. What's going on with all that? what's happening there? Grumpy Gorehound, thank you so much for the 5 and the 2. They should put a Halloween Ends and introduce all new character killer for bearded. I was like, who are we talking about here? That's funny.
I'm okay with that. Put in a completely new killer. Like, the cult route has so many possibilities. We do know we're getting some sort of cinema club because the posters at the theater.
Yeah.
So we know there's like a Woodsboro Cinema Club or whatever. I think that was originally one of whether or not Stu was supposed to be in charge of it, it was supposed to be, from what I understand, a club that was the kind of the hub for the cult of Ghostface. But he did already do that story because he turned that story into the following.
You think he would resurrect that here? Like, yeah, I don't know if he would, because I feel like we Scream fans kind of know. But I will say, to kind of counterpoint that, we did just that new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie, like that twist ending about Ray being the killer. That's been out for years. That was supposed to be what the original I Still Know What You Did Last Summer's twist ending was going to be. It was going to be Ray was going to be one of the killers in the original version. They kind of just piggybacked off of that and then made it into a story in 2025. could that be the case with Scream 7? We're resurrecting those original notes and putting it into Scream, even though, yes, we already did it in the following. And yes, we've kind of already done ideas like that in other franchises with I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Well, like I said, the writers of 5 and 6 very clearly did their versions of 1 and 2. It's the same writer doing their version of 3, but what if people are expecting their version of 3? So instead, they go with their version of what the original 3 was, and who better to know what the original 3 was supposed to be other than the person who originally pitched it?
That's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be totally against that if it was like a cult of Stab fans. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know. That could be cool. But I'm just hoping. I don't know. I'm almost hoping for this to be a return to form because it is back to Sidney Prescott. I almost want it to be 2 killers again. But I wouldn't be against the cult. We've never done it before. And I think more than anything, I want to see something new and something refreshing.
Yeah. Like I think they planted the seeds of a cult. And I remember when the trailer for 6 came out and we saw all those robes on that stage in their cases. Bro, I don't know about you, but like, we're like, it's got to be a cult of Ghostface at this point,
yeah.
right? Like,
the shrine, yeah.
6 different like, or 7 or how many ever. Like, we were like, it's got to be and then they didn't give us that. Like, I don't know, man. I think it would be perfect, like a perfect opening to that movie if like we see someone like breaking in through caution tape or police tape into that shrine and started stealing stuff, and then we see them take it back and it is an actual cult. Like,
that could be cool. That could be sick as fuck, man. But Grumpy, thank you for the 5, thank you for the 2. I greatly appreciate that. I would love a cult of ghost faces here. But to kind of wrap this up a little bit, Eric, hit me with like what just final thoughts on Stu being the killer, what you think you want to see happen in Scream 7 versus what you think we're going to get.
I would appreciate him being the killer. However, I recognize that it could be executed poorly and make things not mesh well with the previous movies. I do want him to be the killer though, or at least revealed in some capacity. Maybe not the like main killer, but maybe the motivation behind it. Like maybe he's the one on like making phone calls or something. I don't know. What I think we're gonna get, I think we're gonna get a movie. I think it might be a return to form a little bit. I think Tatum is going to be the main protagonist presented. However, I do believe the overarching reason she's being hunted is to get to Sydney, not necessarily physically, but like mentally and emotionally. Yeah. And I do believe we get maybe not a cliffhanger, but we get a direct setup for the next movie.
That would be awesome, man. I think that's a great wish list for a new Scream film. I feel like if we follow that to a T, we could find something that it really is original there. And for me, I think just one of the biggest points we've made tonight is I don't know if I care so much about if this is all logical or if Stu is alive for this reason, that reason, whatever. If you're gonna bring Stu back to life, have a good reason to do it. Like have a genuinely this is a mind blowing way to take it. It's not just because he's angry about his whole life being sucked down the drain or something, or no familial revenge. Give me something we haven't seen before in the series with Stu coming back. You know what I mean? Give me a reason why he waited for 30 years. It doesn't have to be logical. I just hope that it's cool. Like I think the rule of cool is something that's so important when it comes to just movies in general. Like is this like something we're all going to watch and be like, fuck yeah. Is it just too cool that we can't look away from it? That's the route you have to take it with Matthew Lillard coming back in this role. So if we can find that, if we can make that happen, I think that applies to pretty much every theory, not just Stu coming back. Make the fans go, fuck yeah. But I love that. Eric, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate you a ton.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course. Where can the folks find you here on the YouTubes?
Erica has been really nice and putting my link in the chat for my channel. I have not been active really for like a year. I am going to get back into it to talk more about talk more about Scream because I mean it's heating up, man. There's so many discussions to be had about this movie. And so yeah, I think I want to start making videos again, doing some lives over there. Thank you so much, Erica, for putting my channel out there. Yeah, you can find me there, and then occasionally helping you out on your on the Human Egg channel.
Yeah, and you can see this guy right here perform a lobotomy on me in our new short film, Province Synthetic, which won Best Film at the Cleveland 48-Hour Film Project in 2025, which is pretty exciting stuff. Congratulations on all the other nominations, which pretty much all revolved around you, all the ones we won.
not all. You got writer. You got writer, and we had...
You won the Best Villain, Best... What was the? I don't even remember everything.
We got best villain, best use of the line, and best use of the character.
That was all you, buddy. You killed it, man. We love it. We love it. But thank you again for being so badass with all the movie stuff, because you've been a very big part of making all of that happen. You know, even going all the way back to Red Right Hand. So I really appreciate you a ton.
Dude, thanks for letting me be part of it. I love doing stuff like that. I don't know, the idea of like having an idea in your brain and then putting it onto like something we thought of that didn't exist before we made it now exists. And I love that. Absolutely love that. Like same with Red Right Hand, dude. Like that's I remember you talking about that beforehand, like of video, you know, a Scream movie from the perspective of the killers. And then you just made that. Like the dedication it takes to make a film is crazy. And yeah, just thanks for letting me be part of it. I love it. Love doing it.
Hell yeah, man. And who knows? Maybe we're working on something else. I don't know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? No idea. Don't know what to tell you. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching all of our weird movies and my weird videos, and also some of Eric's weird videos as well. But appreciate you guys a ton. Thanks for watching. We'll be live again Friday. I'll have a big Creep deep dive video on season 1 of the Creep tapes. Check that out on Friday. I'm working very hard on it. Countless hours, multiple pages of a script that have been written this week. My God, I am moving on it. Please check that out. Oh, did I say that already? Watch my Creep tapes video on Friday, for the love of Christ. Anyways, love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you guys live Friday. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Peace out.